want you to take you back to a time when I experienced deep mental distress. I was overwhelmed, burnt out, and I was struggling to find purpose in my work. And it was during this challenging period that I discovered the therapeutic potential of design. And it was engaging in the creative process that helped me to expand my imagination. It reignited my passion and also was nurturing for my well being. And I was using design as a form of therapy that could unlock this world of possibilities. Thank you, Ori. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for this talk on design as creative therapy. So just to introduce myself, my name is Katie Reagan, and I'm excited to share a little bit of my work with you all. Right now, I am the managing editor at the Metropolitan Universities Journal, and I am also a therapeutic art instructor at an eating disorder residential treatment center. And so, what that looks like as a therapeutic art instructor is I utilize various artistic mediums to teach students different life skills while also providing opportunities for reflection and self expression. I recently received my doctorate in learning and organizational change from Baylor University. And before that, I did my master's at Parsons School of Design and undergrad at Virginia Tech. And my research focus is on interdisciplinary arts integration, design thinking, and visual culture. So now straight into the presentation. So, as you might know, we have all been living through a time of mental distress where we can find ourselves feeling very overwhelmed and burnt out. And so during these times, it's essential for us to explore new tools and techniques to support our well-beings. So today we're going to look at how design can become a powerful form of self-care, and it can also be a catalyst for personal growth. So let's dive in. So I want you to take you back to a time when I experienced deep mental distress. I was overwhelmed, burnt out, and I was struggling to find purpose in my work. And it was during this challenging period that I discovered the therapeutic potential of design. And it was engaging in the creative process that helped me to expand my imagination. It reignited my passion and also was nurturing for my well being. And I was using design as a form of therapy that could unlock this world of possibilities. So now I want you to imagine a world where creativity has the power to heal, to inspire, and to transform all of our lives, regardless of if design is your discipline of focus. So as designers, we're into the potential of design to, communicate ideas, to evoke emotions or inspire action. But I think we often overlook the therapeutic benefit that design and art can bring in our own lives outside of work. Because design and art, it has the power to expand our imaginations and provide inspiration. And in the midst of deadlines and client demands, it can be really easy to become disconnected from the creative spark that started us even pursuing a career in the arts. And when we engage in artistic practices, whether it's professionally or personally, it can rejuvenate our creative energy and also reignite our love for design. So, exploring new techniques, maybe experimenting with different artistic mediums, and also just pushing boundaries of what creativity means to us and what creativity might look like can lead to fresh perspectives and some awesome breakthrough moments, because design and art then become these catalysts for renewed inspiration and innovation in our professional work. So first, I think we need to explore, what does mental distress and burnout look like? Burnout, by definition, is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that is caused by prolonged stress. And it can affect our overall well being, and it can also hinder our ability to cope effectively. And in the fast-paced and often demanding world of design, we often can find ourselves pushing the boundaries of creativity and striving for perfection and trying to meet super tight deadlines, which can then cause us the stress. And while these qualities often define what our profession is, they also come at a cost to our mental well being, which then inhibits us from being able to perform in the way that we want to. And these demands and these expectations, it can leave us feeling drained and anxious and often disconnected. And I mean, the design industry, it's known for its high pressure environments. It's known for demanding clients and the need to keep up with the ever evolving technologies. And we can often find ourselves juggling multiple projects simultaneously, maybe even working multiple gigs at once, competing with AI instead of utilizing it to our advantage. We're working late nights, we're sacrificing personal time to try to meet often self-imposed unrealistic expectations. And this relentless cycle of deadlines, revisions, and critiques, it can leave us feeling overwhelmed and stressed and burnt out. So mental distress and burnout, it's not only affecting our emotional well-being, but it's also a hindrance for our creativity and our productivity. When we're exhausted and emotionally drained and just not full, our cup is not completely full, our ability to think outside of the box and generate new ideas really diminishes. And we become trapped in this endless cycle of repetitive thinking and a struggle to find inspiration. And often in the design industry and also in all sorts of industries, there's this culture of perfectionism that really just exacerbates the issue. We're constantly comparing ourselves or our work to others, or fearing that our work won't be good enough or that we're not going to be relevant. And this constant self criticism and the pressure to fit inside a box while also trying to think outside of the box can be suffocating. And it creates this breeding ground for anxiety and self doubt and ultimately mental distress. But I think it's important to note that mental distress and burnouts, they're not signs of weakness, but rather it's a symptom of an industry that often fails to prioritize the well being of its professionals. And it's time for a change. So, looking at the role of design in self care. So, how can design help us practice self care and overcome that burnout so we can get back to doing what it is that we're passionate about? So, when we look at design itself, in its essence, it's problem solving with creativity, and it involves intentionally creating something new, whether it's a physical object or a digital interface or just an artistic expression. So, engaging in the design process, it can stimulate our imagination. It can allow us to kind of escape the pressures of our daily life and also dive into ambiguity and this endless possibilities, which is going to be very exciting. But designing also requires us to be fully present in the moment. So we have to focus our attention on the task at hand. And a lot of times people would describe this as mindfulness. This mindful engagement with the creative process is helping us to cultivate a sense of calm and relaxation. And as we immerse ourselves in the design and the creativity, we start to enter this state of flow where time seems to kind of stand still and the voices from outside are quieted, our worries and our stressors start to fade away. So the aesthetic nature of design can allow us to really immerse ourselves in beauty and seek inspiration from our surroundings. So whether it's creating visually pleasing compositions or appreciating the aesthetics of existing designs, design can uplift our spirits and bring a sense of joy, and inspiration. And I think it's important to not underestimate how surrounding ourselves with aesthetically pleasing designs can really positively impact our mood and overall well being. I mean, when you just think of color theory, how just a color has the impact to change our mood or in the way that we're thinking. So, design, as itself can also provide us with the opportunity to customize and also personalize our environment and our belongings. So, by incorporating our unique style and our preferences into our designs, we're creating spaces and objects that reflect our individuality. And this sense of ownership and personalization, it can foster a sense of comfort, of familiarity, and most importantly, belonging. And all of these are really important when it comes to self care. So, when we're engaging in the design process, it can encourage us to explore new ideas, to experiment with different techniques, go outside of your comfort zone, and use growth mindset to try new things. And it can push us to step outside of those comfort zones, to take risks, and to learn from both the successes and the failures, and especially finding value in the failures and how the failures are then going to inform future successes. So, this continuous exploration and growth can contribute to our personal development and also help us with our overall sense of fulfillment. So, by recognizing and harnessing the power of design, we can really integrate it into our self care routines. And this will allow it to become a source of nourishment and rejuvenation for not just our minds, but our bodies and our souls. The three are all interconnected. Design gives us permission to play, to imagine and create, and provides this holistic therapeutic approach to caring for ourselves to avoid those times and work through those times of mental distress and burnout. So, design as a creative therapy, it can offer a really unique opportunity to grow our imagination and fuel our personal growth. So, when you're exploring different mediums, whether it's graphic design, interior design, or even fashion design, I mean, I often consider picking out what I'm going to wear in the morning as my first act of creativity for the day. So, through whatever medium it is you're using, we can challenge ourselves to think outside of the box and push the boundaries of our creativity and our capacity to be creative. So the act of designing becomes a form of self expression, which allows us to communicate our thoughts, our emotions, and our experiences visually and be able to process them in unique ways that resonate with us. The design, it can encourage us to think beyond the limitation of what already exists. So it prompts us to imagine new possibilities. It can explore unconventional ideas and challenge the status quo. So by pushing the boundaries of our imagination, we can unlock new perspectives and solutions, which is what I encourage my students to do in the classroom. It can also provide a space where we can tap into our inherent creativity and also embrace playfulness. It creates a space where we can experiment and take risks, which in the corporate world, a lot of times is seen as not a great thing, but creating a safe environment where we can explore that childlike curiosity, where we can embrace our inner child and develop a more open and imaginative mindset. So, engaging in the design process, it offers a unique opportunity for self discovery and reflection. So, through the act of creating, we are gaining insights into our own preferences, our strengths, and values. Design becomes this form of self expression that allows us to communicate our identities and explore our inner worlds. And the self awareness can then help us align our actions with our authentic selves. So, design as a creative therapy not only can expand our imaginations, but it also challenges us to grow. Design becomes a transformative journey of self discovering, which enables us to reach new heights. So, that question of how can we integrate design creative therapy into our lives as design professionals? Well, first and foremost, we need to make a commitment to prioritize self care and actually carve out time for creative processes outside of our paid work. So now that we understand the potential of design as a tool for self-care, let's explore some of the practical ways to incorporate it into our lives. So the first one is to start with small projects. Begin by engaging in simple design projects that align with your interests. This might look like sketching or painting or even rearranging the furniture in your living space. The key is to just start somewhere and build that momentum. A second thing is to embrace experimentation. So don't be afraid to try new things and step out of your comfort zone. Explore different design mediums and techniques to find out what resonates with you. And it's important to remember that there's no right or wrong answers in the realm of creativity. It's just a space of possibilities. The third thing is to create a dedicated space. So set up a designated area where you can immerse yourself in the creative process, where you can clock out of work, clock out of the home life, and just be creative. It gives you a space that's free from distractions. If you can have that, allow yourself to just focus entirely on your design projects and kind of build a sense of sanctuary. The fourth thing you could do is to practice mindfulness. So, using design as an opportunity to be present in the moment and engage all of your senses as you're working on a project. So, this is paying attention to the textures, the colors, and the sounds around you, and let this process kind of be a form of meditation and being present. The last one is to connect with others. Join design communities or find other like minded individuals who share your passion for creativity. Engaging in discussions, sharing ideas, collaborating on design projects, it can build a sense of belonging and inspire further growth. So, design is creative therapy. It offers us this unique avenue to navigate mental challenges or mental distress, to practice our self care and also foster personal growth. So, embracing the power of creativity, we can really tap into our inner strength. We can expand our imaginations and rediscover that joy and purpose that brought us here in the first place. So, I challenge you to take this opportunity to unlock the transformative potential of design in our lives and use it as a tool to support your well being. So, to conclude, design and art, they have the power to transform our experiences in the design industry, both professionally and personally. By embracing them as a form of creative therapy, we can find solace, self discovery, and renewed inspiration in our professional lives. So let's prioritize self care. Let's cultivate a community of support and let's engage in the process of creation with openness and childlike curiosity. Design and art, they're not just tools for communication, they're these vehicles for personal growth, for well being, and fulfillment in our journey as design professionals. So I'll leave you with this. Just remember that the act of creation, it's not only a remedy for your soul, but also a catalyst for personal growth. Thank you. Are there
Excellent.
any questions?
Thank you very much, Katie Reagan. That was really good. Like I resonated with the energy that I get from creativity. Like I find personally that when I'm creative, it gives me energy. It's like exercise. I'm tired, but when I exercise, I get energy, and it's the
Right.
opposite of what you kind of think of. Um, so thank you for sharing that. And as Katie Reagan said, if you have any questions, please do post them on whichever platform you're on, and we'll put those through to our presenter. So what we'll do now, I'll kick it off. You mentioned dedicated space.
Mhm.
Working from home, one of the challenges that I've had over the last few years is it's hard to carve out a space that's workspace and have the rest of my family life kind of things going on. So, how do you separate out an even further space to, and what happens if you don't genuinely don't have that like space in your house?
Right. That's one of the hardest ones to implement. It's a lot easier said than done, because a lot of us don't have the space to separate work and life, especially if we're working at home and have families. So for me, a lot of times it's visual cues for myself to get me in that headspace. So It might be using the same desk that I work at during the day, but clearing it off, bringing my creative materials, and kind of creating kind of an aesthetic environment that, even though it's physically the same as it was earlier during the day, these visual cues can kind of bring me into a different creative state. So that's where, like, rearranging your furniture or just being mindful of the colors that you're using in a space and that kind of thing can be really important. And just kind of cueing your brain to like turn off work and turn on fun and creativity.
And that actually ties in. Ricardo has just sent through a question: how to separate the design work from the design that heals. So I guess if you're doing design all the time, it's kind of similar to what you said, but maybe is there anything more you can add there?
Yeah, so that's where I really encourage folks to explore different design mediums. So if you're primarily doing graphic design, maybe try painting on an actual canvas or try doing, like, for me, pottery has always been, I appreciate it from afar, but I am not good at it. So, but sometimes it's doing something with my hands that's different than what I normally do day to day that gets me in a different creative headspace. And even if it's not perfect, like, the goal is just to do something creative and it doesn't really matter what the end product looks like because I'm not giving my clay sculpture to anyone. I'm not going to sell it to anybody. Nobody's going to buy it. So if I can just, knowing that the end product doesn't matter or doesn't, it's not transactional, can help me just take risks or try something different. And then that will activate a new space in my brain that then the next day when I go to work and I'm looking at the graphic design project that I'm working on, sometimes I can get a new perspective, or just get a new inspiration because I've been creative in a different way.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it kind of resonated with me with a lot of the hustle culture. You have to turn your hobbies into an income stream. And I love the kind of, no, there's
Yeah,
nobody's going to buy this. But it's not, that's not the purpose of it.
right.
So no, I love that. So Ricardo, hopefully that answered your question, because I think you've sent in a follow up question, but I think it's the way Katie Reagan answered it. I think hopefully that will have covered it. So, um, yeah, I think that brings us to time. But if you do have any other questions out there, because I do apologize for the delayed start, please do post them in here, and we can share those on our community Slack group. And I'll invite Katie Reagan to come and answer any questions you have there. So
Awesome. Well,
thank
thank
you
you,
very much.
everybody.
Yeah, and thank you very much for sharing.
Of course.
Thanks for tuning in with us today. We genuinely hope that this video sparked some fresh insights and ignited inspiration for changing the ways that you work. But as with all things product development related, there is no one size fits all. So please do share your thoughts in the comment section below, and let's keep the conversation going. Finally, if this video resonated with you, please do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. This not only keeps you up to date with all of our latest content, but it also helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Last, if you want to keep learning, we have a couple of videos suggested here. But otherwise, until next time, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.